Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. Prophecy watch, watching the prophecies, reporting to the flock. All right, it looks as if the left hand, all right, is up to no good as we look around the world. All right, and as you can see, of recent, you have uproars of the people, which is associated with prophecy. All right, but the way that these things will be brought about, we know that even earthquakes can be created by the left hand, but it still fulfills prophecy that there will be earthquakes in diverse places. A lot of these uproars around the world, in particular here in America of late, all right, could very well be associated with false flags. It could very well be associated with the left hand, all right, using agent provocateurs in their media, all right, to push the notion that they're under threat, and it's going to give them the ability to come with the very order that they want. All right, as you can see here on the screen, all right, so-called Al-Qaeda leader, all right, has just called for American Muslims to wage jihad, which is war on U.S. soil, all right, and to, as you read, take out DT, all right, and JD and so forth, all right. And again, we know that over the years, this is what we warned you about, all right. And the timing of this is all suspect. And again, we have nothing to do with Islam or Muslims, but we know how these devils get down, all right. But again, the timing of this is very suspect, okay. And when you look all around the world, let's get a few articles here. We don't have to read them because I don't have too much time, but there's a National Day of Defiance set to sweep across the United States, all right? And every time you look at Trump's Twitter, all right, he's using, these uproars and these talking points of defiance, which I believe June 14th is Trump's birthday. And there's a National Day of Defiance set to sweep. And again, could possibly be something that they're just making up. All right, but as a response to the deportations, which let's not forget, all right, under Barack Obama, there were many deportations, way more than Trump has done, and there wasn't an uproar like this. But with the narrative surrounding the immigrants being let in the United States and Trump's response, it's pushed racial tension, and they're going to capitalize off of that. Okay, not to say none of the people who are in these marches are, are sincere in their concern, but when you look at what's happening, the riots, it's very fishy. But we'll look into that in just a minute. But all around the world, all you're hearing of wars and rumors of wars, man, rebellion. All right, these people are sick. This is just a sick environment. Here there's a woman standing up for trans men, entering into competition with women. All right, but more, worldwide, you're just seeing just uproars, murder, rebellion, and this is pre-flood behavior, which is also pre-fire behavior. Before the flood, these are the things that were taking place, the murder, rebellions, just a sick, toxic environment. You got a damn woman gonna play the Messiah. All right, it's just everywhere you go. 500 Marines have been mobilized to respond to protests in Los Angeles. Okay. Then you have this thing with Governor Newsom, with tax fraud. Everywhere you look, it's just a complete bloody riot of just confusion, man, and chaos. And this is the environment that's going to be needed by the elite to bring forth their order, okay? Because, again, Americans have too many rights, So again, we have all of the necessary, bills on book already, but they need the necessary psyop to take place with it to justify taking away your rights and doing exactly what they want to do. Now we know Trump's big blow, that triple B bill that he got coming up. As a matter of fact, we'll go to a video real quick to talk about that. But within that bill, it seeks to take away any policing of artificial intelligence and take away the policing of these agents that he's going to send out. All right, to respond to all of these uprisings. But as you can see here, Trump warns we're going to have troops everywhere. Okay, many fear civil war has now come to America's doorstep. Rioters in Los Angeles seen spitting on and burning American flags. All right, and remember, you had some low-level Israelite groups participating in these things. Again, all of these things are going to be brought up and used to tie us to all of these acts. All right, but we know that our intent was always pure, and we know we will be numbered amongst the transgressors. All right, but again, the left hand is up to no good. All right, and mischief is being planned. Okay, more rebellions. Over 30,000 march in Romania demanding libiquita equality. Just sick. Everywhere you look, it's just sickness, man. Okay, Trump's border czar threatens the arrest of California officials, including Newsom, over immigration interference. Okay, E. coli in the beef. I mean, everywhere you look, eggs, 2 million eggs recalled. Okay, so we're on the cups of something big getting ready to happen. Okay, U.S. Marines are on high alert to be deployed in L.A. riots. So they're looking for a reason, all right, to bring in the troops, all right, to bring in the National Guard. Trump to deploy 2,000 National Guard troops in L.A. to combat violent protests. All right, and let's get a scripture here real quick, okay, because all of this mischief. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 28 and 3. It says, "Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts." So again, they're going to bring these troops for the purpose of peace, okay? And it's all about immigrants, migrants, but they're going to use these troops on their own citizens. That's the plan, okay? So again, the workers of iniquity, which say peace in their heart, but peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their heart. Psalms 36 and 4, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. And this is what's going on. And I want to play some of this video here real quick. Give me 1 second. We'll start here. But as you can see, this is the Jimmy Dore show. Anti-ICE riots are a deep state psyop, all right? And everybody's onto these people. This is why they have to go ahead and hurry up and justify bringing a sword, because too many people are onto them, even their own kind. As we know, the scripture said their own tongues will fall upon themselves, okay? But let's listen to a little bit of this. Let's start at like 2:30. Let's start at 2 minutes.
They can surveil you. Do not cooperate. It is your right to wear what you want. Absolutely. Now, Laura Loomer here, champion of freedom that she is, they call her Lady Liberty around the happy hour. Time to deploy Palantir Tech to Los Angeles to deal with the illegals. You know you'd love to see it. You're lying if you say you wouldn't. Wow, I think she misread a lot of the room. So James Lee here commented on this. It kind of sums up a lot of what we've been talking about here.
Say some pretty unpopular things, starting with, this is not good. Also, this is not a peaceful protest. But something very disturbing is happening in the background that I think you should know about. It's time to deploy Palantir to Los Angeles to deal with the illegals. You know you love to see it. You're lying if you say you wouldn't. What? This is the grand plan. Okay, it's not an accident that cars are burning on the streets and people are waving foreign flags on the streets. There's something they're trying to manufacture consent for. Remember when they...
Now, mind you, this is off of the back of two back-to-back attack on, the small hats. Okay, one in D.C., one in, I believe, Colorado. Okay, where Trump is saying this is too much. Then, the Free Palestine talking point has now been labeled a domestic terror term. Now they're saying waving Mexican flag can be associated with domestic terror. Okay, you got people burning American flags. Okay, something in my spirit tells me that these are psyops. Okay, but we've been warning you over the years that these are the type of scenarios and situations that they're going to need to justify bringing the order that they want to bring. Okay, and again, they're going to wage war on their own citizens. Okay.
Justified the passing of the Patriot Act over 20 years ago. They told us we needed all this extra power to go after the bad guys, to get rid of the terrorists. But almost immediately, the government started to use that extra power they were given to spy on ordinary Americans, right? How can you be so sure that you will not be deemed an enemy of the state one day? There's absolutely no guarantee that this master database won't be weaponized against you. And to be perfectly honest, history tells us that the likelihood is pretty high that it will be used against you one day. But to quote RFK Jr., 1, any power that the government takes from the people, it will never return voluntarily. 2, every power that the government takes, it will ultimately be abused to the maximum extent possible. 3, nobody ever complied their way out of totalitarianism. The only thing we can do is resist. Be careful out there, people.
RFK Jr. should tell his boss that. So Kurt Metzger, friend of show Kurt Metzger, replied to Laura Loomer, do you really not comprehend the level of evil fuck of Alex Karp and Peter Thiel? And Ian Carroll. Laura, how would you feel if it was deployed to target Jews? Not great, right? Once you give the government a power, you never give it back. You are giving that power to every future administration. So the question should always be, what if this was used to target me? Hear, hear. Stephen Miller has a very different take on all this, predictably. While ICE officers are battling violent mobs in Los Angeles, Rand Paul is trying to cut funding for deportations and border security. On Fox this morning, I argued for $75 billion in new spending for the border. Current estimates are that a 1,000 miles of wall can be built for about $7 billion, and $68 billion would still employ thousands of new Border Patrol agents, immigration judges, and expanded detention facilities. Okay. Now, Kentucky Statesman here responding to Thomas Massey. While ICE officers are battling violent mobs in the Los Angeles PSYOP, Stephen Miller is working hard to pass the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill, to shield Palantir and their Orwellian AI surveillance algorithms from being regulated by the states for 10 years. So
there you go. Okay, listen to that again.
While ICE officers are battling violent mobs in the Los Angeles PSYOP, Stephen Miller is working hard to pass the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill, to shield Palantir and their Orwellian AI surveillance algorithms from being regulated by the states for 10 years so they can't interfere with the upcoming New World Order.
And there we go. And this is what they're trying to set up, that AI surveillance, the MOTB system here in America. They want America to be, all right, just like China. All right, where the people are heavily surveilled, you have no rights, freedom of speech gone. Okay, this is what's coming. Okay, and we may not be on the streets. All right, and again, mind you, this is only 6 months into this man's presidency. Okay, there's only 6 months into this man's presidency, and imagine 4 more years of this. We definitely wouldn't be on the streets anymore, man. And hopefully we don't have 4 more years. But you got individuals talk about we could possibly have 1,000 more years. Hell no. Okay, this man got a lot going on. Again, the scriptures told you, right? The scriptures told you. All right, this is Psalm 62:3. How long will you imagine mischief against a man? You shall be slain, all of you, as the bowing shall ye be, as a tottering fence. All right, Psalms 94:20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? And that's what they're ultimately going to do. They're going to pass laws centered around peace and safety, but there's mischief tied to it. And again, you Israelites who, want to keep playing games, all right, very soon, all of the prophecies that the prophets have, been warning of, they're going to be right before your very eyes. Isaiah, all right, chapter 19:2, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. They shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And we're already seeing these things, man. Wars, rumors of wars, uprisings, earthquakes. But again, a lot of it is associated with staged events. Okay, we live in we're living under the rule of a demonic, all right, hypocrite, man. All right, who's looking for a reason to draw out the sword. Isaiah 19:3, or as a matter of fact, Isaiah 19:4, and I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord of his armies. Okay, so this has to be it. Let's listen to a little bit more of this.
And what he's quote tweeting from Massey is the big beautiful bill contains a provision banning state and local governments from regulating AI. It's worse than you think. It would make it easier for corporations to get zoning variants so massive AI data centers could be built in close proximity to residential areas. Getting the picture? Getting the picture? I'll throw in a little side element that's not in this slideshow. We did a...
Because let's not forget, your president, D.T. Trump, sold Babylon out, all right, to these technocrats. Okay? As soon as he got in, he had you watching, all right, 3 transhumanist technocrats, okay, tell you about their plans for the Americas, man. He had Elon Musk on board, although they so-called beefing and arguing, okay, ultimately the plan is already set, okay? AI takeover, all right, MOTB infrastructure, okay, now they need the right, all right, environment on the earth to justify, all right, taking away your rights, all right, and ultimately declaring martial law, okay? Could this be it? All right, could there be more? All right, we believe more is coming. All right, this is why we have to stay locked into the spirit, man. And this is why you started to see many Israelite camps do things that are weird, you know, openly, because a lot of these Israelite leaders are under a 501c3. Even if they're not under a 501c3, a lot of them are controlled and they have handlers. A lot of them took a bag. So over the years, you started to see many Israelite camps just pop up doing things that did not make sense, that we rebuked about. And when we rebuked, a lot of you came onto the comment board saying, why y'all hating? Y'all scared, yada, yada, yada. Y'all cowards. Okay. Well, when it's all said and done, you're going to be looking for the right leadership. Because even if you are training, all right, even if, why would you do it openly? Like you getting ready to fight your enemy. The scriptures never said we would win, all right, by fighting. Now, it's nothing wrong with training. We you know, brothers do what we do. All right, but why would you put openly show all of your guns and arsenal? You allow the enemy to come with you. We're going to the shooting range. All right, you marching up and down the street screaming like you some military training and fighting, talking about you scaring Edomites. The so-called white man is waiting on any of you niggas to say, yes, we're going to take up the sword. And this, he is waiting on that. They want that environment. So they're going to force it. And this is what they're doing with these psyops. Not to say there aren't people out there literally doing wickedness, but again, Esau Edom has all kind of people on the payroll. Groups of people who ultimately can go out and do things that could be filmed on the news, and then that can be used to justify, all right, him bringing in his order, man, passing legislation. This is the devil we're dealing with here, man. And the motives behind this is not going to be your peace and safety, although that's going to be at the forefront of everything they're getting ready to do going forward, is to save you. Okay? A lot of people are on to them. This is why they got to shut down the internet. They got to shut down, because even everything you see these devils planning is centered around shutting up, all right, anyone who has any opposing, all right, talking points, man. Okay? Another demic is coming. Okay? And if you have all of these situations, these riots, this, that, and a blackout happens, boy, oh boy, It's going to be all hell on the planet Earth. And those who aren't covered under the blood of Yahweh, under the blood of Yahweh Shai, sent by Yahweh, okay, you're going to be caught out there, man. All of you who didn't put Yahweh Shai at the forefront of your ministry, all of you who are shaky in your doctrine all of a sudden, all of you who have done all of these things that could eventually have the ministry blamed, okay, the angels ain't going to protect you. Okay? The only thing y'all can say about us is that we went into the truth of the scriptures and weren't scared to bring it out. Things that made you queasy on the inside, we had no problem saying, yeah, that's in the scriptures. That's the only thing y'all can say about us, is how ultimately using the world's perspectives, all right, against us. See? But we've been pure in the doctrine. Our intent has been pure. Start with our apostles, all right, bishops and elders, man. Constantly told you of these days, man. Never budged, never changed it up. See, but the rest of you guys, man, a lot of you guys are, on some other stuff, man. Crazy people think these things are organic. Okay?
Story about how the University of Zurich did an experiment that they caught hell for because they didn't tell anyone they were doing it. They sent AI bots into Reddit to persuade people of things. And they found that they were more persuasive than humans. Now, if the University of Zurich just did that experiment, what do you think the odds are that the three-letter agencies have not been doing that for years and years? Look at some of the really crazy, divisive comments you'll see on X, and then go look at how many followers they have. It's like 27, right? Why? Almost always. You think they're not setting loose fake AI bots posing as people in order to steer you in one direction or another, depending on your ideological biases, and keep you arguing over the immigrants and the wall while they build a police state around you? So this is Whitney, who basically, this is her life's work, exposing this kind of thing. Palantir is not just a military contractor. It was a company created to privatize and house the Bush-era neocon-run surveillance program, Total Information Awareness, housed previously at DARPA, and put it under increased CIA control, though the CIA was also intimately involved with TIA. TIA was shut down by Congress because it would have eradicated the constitutional right to privacy, but Palantir has accomplished that and gotten away with it because it is a private sector entity. You know how we're always saying, well, we should make social media a publicly held interest in order to have constitutional protections. Okay, so if you're a government agency like the CIA, you have to stay within certain constitutional constraints, theoretically. Whitney has written quite a lot about Palantir specifically, how they used Palantir to get around the Constitution, because, you say, well, they're a private company, they can do what they want. So
yeah, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get around the Constitution, all right, where you have no rights. You heard Trump, all right, like a month ago say, pretty much, if we roll on our, any one of our citizens who we deem enemies, we can round them up. And the lady was asking him, well, will they have due process? Meaning, their constitutional rights be applied to them? He was like, I don't know. We'll have to talk to the lawyers. Well, he's the president. Why wouldn't he be able to tell you? Because pretty soon, nobody will have rights. Okay? And they're going to set up that social credit score, and they're going to say, we need to know who's with us and who's not with us. And if you're posting certain things online, if you have certain views, all right, you could very well be subject to being what? Detained out of America, taken out of America. What they're doing with those illegal immigrants, all right, don't get too comfortable, Judah, right? Because, again, they're going to wage war on you, okay? And the scriptures talk about Jacob's trouble, and we've been warning you all about these things, but for some reason, all y'all did was give us hell. Well, good luck, and don't come looking for us when the time comes, man. Good luck. Remember, ain't no Jacob's trouble. Remember, this is, hey, keep living. As Ezekiel said, the day is coming, O rebellious house, that I will speak the word and it will come to pass.
Government agencies like the CIA said, yeah, they can do what they want. So let's subcontract out the stuff that we might get in trouble if we did it, because they don't have those constraints. Yep. Palantir's earliest funder, besides Peter Thiel, the CIA. Palantir's first client for its first several years as a company, the CIA. Where did Palantir engineers every 2 weeks for years go for guidance in developing their products? CIA HQ. Palantir's originally intended clients, per CEO Alex Karp, the CIA. If there ever was a CIA front company, it's Palantir.
And these are the views of these people. I'm just letting them talk. All right. Fair use, fair use, fair use. It's not medical information. We're just in the news. Literally. That's all we're doing.
Peter Thiel has since quipped that the CIA is a front for Palantir. So Jimmy tweeted this out. Does this guy look like someone panicking and thou doth protest too much? That's because he's doing exactly what he's being accused of, and people are starting to catch on, and he's panicking. So this was an appearance the Karp did on very, very, very friendly to CEO criminal network, CNBC.
New York Times has an article. Here's the headline. Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. They paint a pretty Orwellian picture of what you and the Trump administration are doing.
Over here, I picked a random engineer, and I said, by the way, we have a contest. Find all the technically absolutely erroneous things in this article in 90 seconds. And I picked a random engineer. He's like, well, how many do you think you could do in 90 seconds? He's like, well, 15, 20. But leaving aside the technical, look, it's probably hard for them, I'm sure. Well, it's not. Well, first of all, on the tech side, it is so ridiculous. I read the New York Times. It's literally like I'm a dyslexic. They might as well be hiring me to do a spelling bee. So maybe they just have friends who are tech bros, but they can't.
Okay, and I'm going to say this seems to be a very common tactic of these billionaire CEOs, because Elon likes to pull that line too. Yeah, my head's made out of wood. I'm a stupid guy. It's a deflection to hide what they actually are and what they actually do. I couldn't be responsible for this. I'm dyslexic. I'm a dumb guy.
And hire on a meritocratic basis, I don't know. So that's up to them. We have a contest. Find all the errors in 90 seconds. I think somebody will find 50 or 60. But the more important thing is, we are not surveilling Americans. We are not building a database of surveillance. And if you wanted to do that, the last platform in the world you would buy is Palantir. And don't believe me, go look, spend 10 minutes and look at the architecture of our product. 10 minutes. And then see how ridiculous that is. By the way, writing ridiculous shit in a highly charged environment is dangerous. And the New York Times should take responsibility for the danger they're putting out in the world. There really are people who believe.
Isn't it funny how woke these anti-wokesters become whenever it suits them? How quickly they go to ruling anything they don't like as out of bounds on the basis that it's threatening their safety or the safety of the country or the safety of whoever, fill in the blank. They go right to the woke language. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to say this.
That crap.
Well,
they believe that.
One thing that's true, though, is that you...
Yeah, our code is not open source, but hey, go take 10 minutes looking into it. And the only people who are able to do that have security clearances and work for our company. But hey, go ahead and do it. Sounds good. Sounds like it makes sense, right?
I'm wearing a plain white t-shirt, just like you at home.
Just like you. I'm just folks. Yes. I'm just folks.
I'm just one of you.
So this is also from Jimmy. Palantir is creating the most mind-boggling surveillance state apparatus known to man, and they're doing it in conjunction with the Trump administration. It used to be called total information awareness. Not only are they taking your IRS data and your social security data and your healthcare data, but they are compiling your buying habits, your phone calls and texts, your Google searches, etc. Everything and anything about you, and they put it into a database on you. You will be controlled in all things, including pre-crime. You will have an effective social credit score and a digital ID and CBDC. Trump is the perfect person to have this happen under because he sells himself as the opposite of a deep state character. And so it silences his base, which is the natural opposition to this kind of surveillance state. It's worse than you think. And it's definitely why the head of Palantir is appearing so.
Yeah, all he got to do is say, I'm going to put the Epstein list out and you people just buy it. You know, remember, you know, a lot of the stuff Trump is doing, you know, his followers were, you know, against under Biden. You know, all of a sudden they're making excuses for it. Anyway, I just wanted to play a little bit of this news, man.
Freaked out. People are catching on. Scott Smielkowski, that's a name. Diabolical. Why is Trump allowing this to happen? Jimmy continues. Because Trump is not what he appears to be. Why did he shut down the investigation into his assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania? Why did his FBI chief insist that Epstein committed suicide? Why did Trump keep Doge from going to the Pentagon? Why did Trump explode the Pentagon budget and the debt instead of cutting it like he promised? It's become Trump. It's because Trump is not actually an opponent of the deep state, but he is in bed with them, which is why he was allowed to become president in the first place. Yeah, those are some truth bombs right there.
All right, like somebody put, next comes the MOTB and the inability to buy and sell without a mark. Now, I believe eventually that's coming. I don't think it's coming off of this. But let a blackout or something happen, which they've prophesied, you know, if you've been listening to them, they've prophesied these things. But, you know, brothers are doing videos on it. Check out this elder, you know, GMS Maccabean Spirit by Orchestrated Chaos. See what he's talking about.
I'm going to start with the scripture. This is the book of Luke. 8 and 17. And it reads, "For nothing secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." All right, let's go to its precept also in Luke. Well, and it reads, Luke 12 and 2, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." And right now, America's on the verge of martial law. These events that are taking place are without a shadow of a doubt being orchestrated. They're not organic. They hardly, you know, ever are. This is not an organic thing at all. This was completely orchestrated, paid for, controlled. Although I have not personally seen the evidence of the bricks being set up, I have heard from people who are usually credible when they speak on it, that they already had pallets of bricks that were pre-set up before the events even kicked off.
Well, that was the same thing that happened during the BLM riots. But anyway, Lord willing, check out this and the videos. We'll be back with more. Hopefully you'll edify. Shalom.